What's up, guys? Welcome to Not Your Average Student. I'm Not Your Average Student host, Rebecca. Now, if you watched the last video, you should know what we're going to talk about here. Now then, let's dive into the 27 amendments of the Constitution. The First Amendment. This amendment gives people the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to any petition, and freedom to an assembly if they wish to gather people together for like a group meeting without facing any consequences. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms, or in other words, you have the right to own a gun in your home. The Third Amendment says we don't have to allow soldiers to stay in our homes during a war for any reason if we don't want to. So if in the future when my best friend decides to go in the military, goes into the military, I can decide if I will allow her to stay in my home or if I will deny her permission to stay. She cannot force me to allow her. I mean, well, of course I would allow her to stay, though, any day, because she's my best friend. So the Fourth Amendment protects us against any illegal search into our homes and seizure of our property by law officials. So a police officer cannot search my home for anything, that is, unless they have a warrant to search my home. Now, the Fifth Amendment protects people from self-incrimination of due process and a right to a grand jury. So basically, you have your right to remain silent. That way, you don't have to say anything about a crime or incident that occurred if you don't want to, so you don't go to jail. You got a right to steady flow of trial and a jury to determine if you're guilty or not. The Sixth Amendment. I can't hold up 6 because I'm holding up this computer. Anyways, the Sixth Amendment gives people a right to a quick and public trial with an impartial jury and a right to counsel. So you can get a trial done and over with and seek counsel throughout and after a trial, I guess. Anyways, the Seventh Amendment gives an individual right to a trial within any case of common law. So basically, if you commit a crime, you have the right, despite the crime, to a fair trial. The Eighth Amendment protects people from cruel and unusual kinds of punishment, and no bail is placed until at least after a trial. The Ninth Amendment, the enumeration of rights, how many a person has, cannot be used against it. So if I said, you can't talk about being a follower of any religion other than Christianity and own a gun, to someone like an atheist, they could say, false, my First and Second Amendments allow me to do both. So technically, despite me wanting to go against them, I can't tell them that's too many rights for someone like them to have. So the 10th Amendment says that the states have reserved powers, meaning that if a state doesn't want to make gay marriage legal in their state, just because the federal government decided it's legal, declared it legal, they don't have to. So the 11th Amendment protects states from being sued by other states. For example, I'm a citizen of Indiana. I can't sue Wisconsin for not giving us all the rights to their cheese. This is because I'm not a citizen of the state of Wisconsin, but Indiana. Now, the 12th Amendment. The 12th Amendment. The separated balloting procedures for president and vice president, depending if they were Republican or Democrat, they were put on the same team if they were within the same party. So like you have, like if you had Hillary Clinton and like Joe Donnelly, they're Democrats. So you could they'd be put in the same party, so to say. Or like President Trump and Vice President Pence, they're Republicans, so they'd be put on the same team. So the 13th Amendment abolished or put an end to slavery. The 14th Amendment granted former slaves freedom to the point that they could no longer be enslaved again and gave them equal rights as to compare to the little to no rights that they had before. The 15th Amendment had allowed African American men to vote. Moving on to the 16th Amendment. The 16th Amendment established federal income tax, meaning that those who received an income of some sort had to pay some percentage of taxes to the government. I know, a lot of people aren't happy that they have to do that, but it's how we work. The 17th Amendment granted the direct election of U.S. senators, meaning we don't have to wait a super long time for them to be elected, I guess. The 18th Amendment banned alcohol. Sorry guys, can't drink alcohol. The 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. Yes! The 20th Amendment made the president's term begin in January instead of March. Because, I mean, like, who would want to wait that long? Not me. The 21st Amendment repealed or lifted the ban on alcohol. So, there you go, guys. Drink away. The 22nd Amendment limits the president to being allowed to only serving 2 terms, and thank goodness for that, because there have been some presidents in the past that we're glad didn't get to stay any longer than 2 years. The 23rd Amendment gives Washington, D.C. presidential electors, because apparently they weren't allowed to have them before. The 24th Amendment stopped taxing or paying at the polls. So, like, you don't have to, like, pay to vote at the polls, which is, like, such a blessing. The 25th Amendment allows the vice president to serve in place of the president if something happens, such as the president is impeached, he resigns, or if he dies. The 26th Amendment gave people the right to vote at the age of 18. Woohoo! I get to vote this year! The 27th Amendment. Pay raises to the Congress will only take effect after the next election. I'm guessing that means in terms of presidential elections and not just any election. Well, guys, we are finished. We got through all 7 articles of the Constitution and the 27 amendments, too. I hope you guys have enjoyed these videos. I don't know about you, but I'll definitely love learning about this stuff later on in life more than I do now. Anyways, I'm Rebecca, not your average student, saying goodbye and thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos.